Hey AfterBuzzers, thank you so much for tuning in to another Dead of Summer After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we are going to be discussing Season 1, Episode 5, How to Stay Alive in the Woods. Stay tuned for our thoughts.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah, guys. This is a great way to start the episode. Me, myself, no. Mirror, mirror, I'm doing a thing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Dead of Summer After Show here at AfterBuzz. I am your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. I have a huge panel. Lovely ladies, please introduce yourselves. Let us know where we can find you on Twitter.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Renee Ariel.
And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's Karidlane.
Hey guys, my name is Amber Plaster, and you guys can tweet at me at Amber Plaster.
And of course, you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamD43, Twitter and Instagram, and AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Use the hashtag ABTVDOS to talk to us or just tweet at us. We love hearing your theories. And we have a very exciting thing because Kari was able to be at the panel at Comic-Con for Dead of Summer.
Yes. And
Show the shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Show the
You
shirt.
can kind of see. There we go. Yep, it is Camp Stillwater t-shirt. They gave it out to everybody who came to the Dead of Summer panel. Thank you so
cool.
much, Dead of Summer. That's awesome. They had Deb, Joel, and Drew on the panel, as well as the two show creators that I'm forgetting their names. But great insight, and which we'll get into later as well. But yeah, a lot of fun. They said some little tidbits, and they screened the episode. So it was so fun, like, holding on to that, and because they hadn't seen it yet. And I'm like,
I know.
I don't want to tell you anything, but it's crazy.
She was so excited, then she creeped in at the end while we were watching it.
I wanted to see the final part reaction. I'm like, I want to see their faces.
Well, okay, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
As we know, this was Joel's episode, and each episode has been very sad as far as flashbacks, but to me, this one was the saddest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah?
I'm so sad. I'm so bummed. Cricket was my favorite. She still is my favorite.
I mean, listen, I love Cricket too, but we don't really know what's happening here on this camp, so I, am a bit in denial, perhaps, about, like,
That's the first part of
life
grief.
and death denial.
I think it's just super shocking. Like, out of nowhere, like when we saw it, so this entire room
was
full
shocking.
of people, jaw drops, gasps. Someone behind me is like, oh no, not Cricket. And I know I had an audible, like complete shock. Like, oh, I didn't really see that coming. Because, I mean, yes, there are things like, oh, the bear traps, blah, blah, blah. But it just came like boom, boom, boom. Like, turn around, hit fault, and you're like, wait, oh my gosh. So they did say, like, nobody's safe. And now people are going to die.
And listen to the tall man.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah.
I'll
because-
believe that nobody's safe when Deb dies. Deb is totally safe. Deb is totally safe.
If she's one doing it all, yeah. That's
Okay,
true.
let's
safe.
again talk about a bit of my theory.
Oh, someone cried when Cricket died in the chat room.
Well,
I feel you on that one. Totally do.
God, I love her so much. But I think that Deb and Amy have this parallel, and again, we see that in this episode because
Yes.
Deb does not remember what Joel remembers. With that being said, Joel's views on things are skewed now. We know that because of his backstory and the camera and all of that. So, first and foremost, do you guys think that Joel and some form of Deb, like, really hooked up, or...
Now I don't know because when it first happened and she was in denial about it, I know you and I were like, oh, that's the connection with Amy and Deb. But then as the episode went on and we found out he does just see things, and that has been a whole part of his past before he got to the camp. I mean, it might just be like the story that he told. He might just see things, but that is like an extreme thing to imagine. Like, that's an entire intimate multiple moments with someone. It's not just like a quick kiss or, I mean, that's some, so I don't know. That's tough to say.
Yeah, I'm curious too, but it's one of those, maybe it's a thing the way Cricket had her dream when the boots went missing. So it could be a similar, however that happened to him. And, yeah.
I think that would be Drew is next, though, because the Walkman, right? That he lost in the water because she lost the boots, and then he lost the...
Do they all have objects, though? They all have something.
Camera. But the thing with
the baby bottle for
maybe
Water.
Yeah. I just wanted to add real quick. We mentioned this before, but for viewers out there, so with Joel's camera thing, doesn't that make it weirder now? Going back, thinking about how he's attached, it's like, but you know why, and that makes it sadder.
Makes
that
it so
like that's
sad.
his sanity.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense that he's checking and he's like, wait, it's real? It's not real.
Oh,
it's real. And that's why he was always like that. If you remember the pilot, he's like, again, and I just thought like, oh, he's playing with the camera. He doesn't really know how to use it. I didn't think that he was using it as his like last form of sanity.
Yeah, I feel like a jerk now because the whole time I was like, why does this guy bring his camera everywhere? He's a creep and all of this. But no, he has good reason to. And Deb isn't as shady. The reasons I thought she was shady, or the main reasons I thought she was shady with how she was acting with Joel, I guess, are not the case.
Well, but then what the chat brought up, what happened to Joel and Deb if they weren't hooking up?
Listen, I think they were
Chat
hooking
room
up.
saying that too, yeah.
No, I think they were hooking up, just like how Amy kissed Garrett and she doesn't remember it because she was taken over by some other power, which I think were the
Deb
spirits.
too?
Yeah. I think that Deb now, like, maybe it takes time for you to truly be like fully or half possessed by probably one of the bodies that were floating in the lake in the beginning of the pilot.
Could be. Yeah.
But if that's the case, then why is the footage different? If he remembered, if that's even completely different from the get-go.
That's a good point.
See, that's the switch. At first I was like, well, Deb's lying. Either Deb's lying or it's the Amy connection because Deb's just evil. I was like, it's one or the other. But then when he looked back at the footage, it's trying to show us that she was never leading him on to begin with. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But then we saw her in her bra.
And then she was like,
But she wasn't willing the way he saw her be willing.
yeah.
Because when he saw it, when we think we're seeing it, she's like, "Hey, yes, here I am,
Just
naked."
standing there.
But then when you rewatch it, she's like, "Oh God, you pervert," and like covered up.
Oh my God, there's so many.
One of those only time will tell. It's so hard to tell right now. 'Cause
I know.
we don't know what's real, just like him.
Because I think, he kept on seeing things in the camera, and then he would see the tall man, and he wouldn't see it in the camera. And then be like, okay, that's not real. But then he'd see his prom date and his girlfriend in the camera and Amy in the camera.
Okay, but what about this? What if he saw the tall man in the camera when he was away from camp because he noted that his camera wasn't working very well at camp? So maybe now he only sees what's false in the camera at camp.
I don't think it's false. I think it's like a spirit version of what is really happening. Like, I think there is possibly a spirit taking over Deb and Amy, and he can see that in the camera, but not everything else. Into that, let's talk about Joel's flashbacks, because those were pretty brutal. Very, very sad. He had this brother Michael, very similar to him, and he killed himself on prom night and because he kept on seeing the tall man. And he said, basically, I'm not going to go back to Camp Stillwater. You could tell that he was like a bit traumatized by something that had happened there.
Yeah.
But he still told Joel to go.
Yes, why did he tell his little brother to go where he went harassed? And why would you ever wish that on your little sibling who he clearly cared about?
So there's
That's
something deeper
weird.
too with Michael, that he gets haunted by the tall man in the first place. So
Yeah.
this is a long-standing thing too. That I thought was like, wait, what?
I feel like we didn't really get to find out what made him decide on going to camp. Yes, his brother said, yeah, you should still go. However, his brother died in the midst of this, and was because he was being haunted by someone. And then after, you feel like, oh, maybe this is happening to me too. Why would you be like, yep, let's go to the camp? That's what doesn't click with me. I feel like there hopefully is more to the story.
Still doesn't. He's in denial. He doesn't believe it.
True, that's
Or
true.
he didn't know what it was, and now finally, Jesse has the tint. Jesse, right? I'm like, wait, the tintype right? That was the part, And he's like, that's who it is. Which, thank goodness for this show, finally, where characters are talking to each other.
Yes.
And like, look, this thing. Oh, that thing. Oh my gosh. So it's
I
like
practically started cheering, and they're like, guys, I have something to discuss. And we were like, yes.
Finally.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
If you're all such close buddies, you should be talking about stuff.
Or
when
at
the
least
weird
with
stuff's happening.
one person.
Yes, your confidant.
Yeah.
Be like, so this
I read that interview with the show creators, that this is the episode where everyone actually starts to talk about it and put the pieces together with each other.
Yep.
And with Amy and Joel, that was such a weird thing because he kept on being told to kill her and kept on shying away from it. But then she kept on being like, I need to help you. Let me follow you.
That was just the writers trying to push them together. I mean, anybody could have helped him. I was just like, eh. But I also, like, maybe, when you have a crush on someone or you're scared of them, you see them everywhere. Like, I feel like he was like, Amy's everywhere. And I think that we were just meant to feel that. Like, yeah, anybody could help him, but he's like, oh, Amy. Like, he turned around and, like, she'd always be right there because he's trying to, like, avoid her. Mm-hmm. And I think we felt as claustrophobic about Amy as he did because he's trying not to think about her.
But then Amy has no sense of danger because she doesn't know this guy that well. And if I was in the woods in the middle of the night and someone's holding a knife kind of to me, acting, acting a little crazy, I wouldn't be like, let me help you. I'd be like, maybe I should get help for myself because my life could be in danger. So that kind of false sense, I mean, I guess she turned out to be safe, but that false sense of like safety makes me question Amy more because why did you feel so okay about being in that situation?
Yeah.
She doesn't really have any sense of danger, really.
Well,
I agree.
the thing is that we haven't seen her story yet, her episode.
True.
And
Was
Amy's?
the first one?
Amy's. Well, I'm sorry, that wasn't.
Wasn't
That's
like,
not enough for you?
It wasn't
No.
a backstory.
No.
It was
I
just like,
agree.
she's the mysterious girl we're all supposed to root for. It wasn't like, it didn't really show.
Okay.
Some random older woman was like, don't mess this up again, dropping her off like he had done something bad before, which we still don't know about.
Yeah, we were talking about that before.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe that Deb was Amy's mom or something like that. I'm not saying that's not true, but I think that they both have this thing where they don't remember, they're easily possessed. They're like, what's the word? Capsules or that's not the right word. They are able to embody spirit, like be possessed by them more easily. They're like some kind of vessels. That's the word, vessels. They are vessels.
I think it makes sense for them to be related, and I think Deb is a vessel who's like kind of like Joel, where she's like, I'm not gonna let anything bad happen to these kids. She's gonna try to like will it away, which is why she doesn't remember when she's doing these shady things. And I think Amy is somehow either a lineage of Deb, which would be kind of weird because it hasn't come up yet, but like an adoption or anything like that. But, or it's just like the new version of Deb, which is why that whole cult or the Satanist is trying to follow her around like, Amy's the one, like she's the chosen one. There's something there, and they're both like conduits for the evil,
And even just casting-wise, they look kind of similar.
They look very similar,
That's not, I don't want that to be just a coincidence.
Well, since none of you guys are blonde, I can say it. I mean, devils. I'm just kidding, blonde watchers.
Well, I was going to say
all you blonde
most
viewers out
blondes
there.
aren't blondes, too.
True.
Yeah, that is true. But I do think that between the two of them, someone said in the chat that there is something that is calming about each of them. And that perhaps that is part of their like higher power. They're able to calm everyone down and then easily be taken over.
Because they're like natural born little leaders and
Or maybe blondes.
sirens or
They're
whatever
just
it is.
natural
The
born
blondes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you've never gotten highlights before and you're just like fully blonde, be careful of the tall man.
Be careful the powers you will soon possess.
He might totally take you over. You don't know what's happening.
Oh, boy.
Per Dead of Summer.
Yeah.
So here's what we thought earlier is that the tall, because at first we're like, oh, he's scary. We don't like the tall man. But then we were like, no, he's good. He's just warning them. Now I'm back to where I started.
me too.
Yeah, me
I'm going to
too.
go back to, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he needs to take a seat. I don't like him.
But
Not
then
at the
again,
piano,
But
though.
what if killing Amy is a good thing? Like, if Amy is going to be a vessel for something bad, and so he's trying to prevent that.
Yeah. See, that was crossing my mind.
Like, maybe.
But then he killed Cricket, and I was like, nope.
Yep.
Nope, it's bad.
And to begin
He just
with, he
said
was a cult
someone,
leader.
and he was warning everyone.
He's just a control freak. He's like,
That-
you don't kill
yes.
her, I'm gonna kill someone else. Want to see? And then he did with all the bear traps.
Yep.
Let's talk about Deputy Garrett for a moment because
Yeah, let's.
you know what? First of all, Renee, you are like so smart. I do a lot of shows with Renee. Renee is always like, he's bad at the beginning. And I'm like, shut up, Renee. He's a nice guy. And then she always ends up being right. And I think that we now know, like we had predicted, that Deputy Garrett's father is somehow
Yes, I got
involved
that
in
one
this.
too.
Yep.
Good one.
I knew that.
I
Yep.
like how when I was watching you guys, I saw at least a couple hands be like, yes, yep.
We were all like, called it.
Yep.
Called it.
Those
Yes.
are very rewarding moments when you make a
Oh,
prediction
right?
and then
And you're like,
after,
got that one.
It's like we're friends for life now because we started this from the beginning and we're like, yes.
But it's one of those, it's not like the, oh, that's so obvious I called it. It's more
No.
the, I had this weird theory and then, it was right.
I know.
Just
Those
had
are
a
the best.
feeling.
Yeah.
yeah.
It really is a lot of fun to watch. So we don't know exactly what his dad, has to do with this, but his cufflink was in the underboard, which Jesse very conveniently was like, oh, wait, look, I found this.
That was the weirdest way to uncover something. She kicked something. The first thing she kicked to look at. That I honestly, when that
Suspicious.
happened, I thought Jessie was going to push him in. I thought she was bad that moment. I got such a bad vibe because all she did was move something. Like
It's
the
also
first thing she moved.
Yeah.
She also was like, let's go in here.
And she's
Right?
been denying everything the entire time.
And we
Like,
haven't
guys,
seen her.
nothing weird. Nothing weird's happening.
Yeah. She always wants to deny everything. She went and she wanted to go in the cabin, explore, and
Yeah.
like, get info from him. And I feel like it's not a coincidence that they made her episode the last episode. I don't know what we'll uncover. I know something about a DUI, but I think that they do these episodes in an order on purpose. So why leave her for last? I don't think she's to be trusted, but I cannot tell who's the bad seed. I think it's between her and Garrett. Because Garrett also, of course he can, when he's going through the woods at night, again, going through the woods at night, creepy, alone, not with any partner. That was like the first thing he's like, oh, well, I came to check this out, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the middle of the night. What do you mean
He's
you came to
suspicious,
check that out?
too.
So, I don't know.
So much.
It's hard to say, but they were both shady in that moment. It was hard to tell who was good, who was bad.
Yeah. I just don't want it to be like, oh, nobody's bad and nobody's good. They're just being possessed by these spirits. Like, I need someone to actually have been there to say, no, I want to do this and be bad.
Agreed. I want I want an evil character that like plotted this whole thing for sure.
That's all
or like
the
brought this
Satanists.
back. Huh?
That's the Satanists.
Yes.
But we just don't know who they are yet. We just know they're super strong, which someone commented on that, and I do agree that, man, that Satanist at the end was really strong because she went flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shoved her, and it was like, phew.
And it was perfectly like where her head hit. I was like,
Yes.
her head could have hit the ground and she still would have probably
Or a
been knocked out
shoulder,
cold.
maybe.
They must have played sports.
Yeah.
At camp, like
Yes. Yeah.
badminton or something. But the thing is that at the, what was it, 2 episodes ago, I think that the Satanists, the present day Satanists, thought that Cricket was like the girl that they needed to get, and then they, when Amy got struck by lightning, they changed their minds.
Yeah.
But sadly, as we know, Cricket fell to her demise
Yes.
tonight.
Sad way to go.
So bummed.
At
How
least
did
it
they
was
pass
quick.
away? In a bear trap.
Yeah.
That she warned that
Yes.
douchebag about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also I was like, oh, hi. Hello. Like I had the biggest reaction to seeing those bear traps because I was like, there's supposed to be children at this camp. You didn't think to do a sweep
and like
to make sure some
disarm
kids
all
who
of
are,
them. Yeah.
who are doing hide and seek in the woods, like you didn't really? They're like 8-year-olds there. Why are there bear traps? That's
Because the camp needs souls.
I do love that when he almost fell back into it, she goes, what are you doing? Instead of like, be careful. Like, why would the first thing that she thinks is like, what are you doing? He doesn't know that there's a bear trap there.
Yeah.
What do you mean, what is he doing?
Be careful.
Yeah,
Watch
anything.
out. Watch
be
out.
careful, watch out. Oh no, like,
Stop.
that's like an angry response.
Never
to
say
someone.
stop. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one stops. So just, they'll
Never.
back up.
Well, if they say don't
I've actually
look,
seen that. Always.
Yeah.
you're gonna
Yes.
look,
Always.
and then you're.
I just assumed that she had told him, be careful, and then like, or don't walk backwards, you'll fall off a cliff or something, because that was a very specific thing to say, what are you doing? I feel like she had been telling him the whole time, schooling him on how to do, like, that camp night best, because he was like, oh, you really are the queen of camp safety or whatever.
True.
Well, if you guys remember, it's Cricket last week. That was the one that was like, hey, everybody. Guys, like, weird things
that was
happening.
the thing. So if you guys thought about Cricket was kind of the unifier of everybody, and now that that's gone, what does that mean for everybody else?
Poor Blair.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that it means, I didn't necessarily see her as a unifier. I saw her as a person saying, hey, we all are seeing weird things.
That's kind of unifying, though.
Yeah, but she's just like the caller outer, right? The one that's like stating the truth. So then she dies.
A loudmouth.
Well, yeah, loudmouth or just being like, yo, what's up? This
The one who actually noticed what weird shit was going down.
Yeah, and just like, I'm not embarrassed to talk about this, but this is really
We
weird.
need to talk about it. Yeah.
And she's been saying that for like a week or so now, or two, and then she died. So, I mean, I don't think Amy is going to die, at least. Actually, I don't think Amy's going to die at all. I think the rest of them are. Because I think this is going to be a self-contained show if it gets picked up for a second season.
They did kind of say something like that. I'm
Tell
sorry,
us.
I didn't take notes, guys, but I was trying to remember. But yeah, they were saying if they do another camp, it'd be different people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, same camp?
Like, it could be same camp, but different people.
Would it be like a different
Story?
decade?
But it might be, different.
It'd be fun to do a different
Stuff would
decade.
be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't be a American Horror Story where you take the same people and reshuffle them and be like, no, they're...
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
how cool would it be if it was the 90s next season?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, do it a little bit, another 10 years later kind of a
That'd
thing.
be cool.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Deb's like, hey guys, I'm back and I look exactly the same. And yeah, camp got shut down, but then I got it back up again. Now I'm
Yep.
here.
It's that statute of limitations. It's been 10 years.
Yes, it's been 10 years. Oh, that was dark. But it was great. I loved it.
Well, as we said, poor Cricket dies. I don't think Dead is dead here, but also, like, the thing with Blotter was that he was leaving anyways, so, like, they weren't going to notice that he was gone.
Yeah.
But with Cricket, they're going to notice that she's...
That her head's in a bear trap?
Or it'll be like Amy, where she was like fatally struck by lightning, and then Deb was like, she's fine. And so maybe Cricket will come back, and Deb will be like, everything's fine. Don't worry about the bear traps.
She
All
just has
creepy.
a scar across her neck
Yeah,
because
it's
her head fell
fine.
off.
Well, it's more this way.
Oh, wait, yeah, it was
Yeah, it
over
was this
here.
way.
Yeah.
And which is what Joel saw Amy as when he kept on being like, kill her, kill her.
Yeah.
Besides that, we had some fun moment. We had a nice moment with Blair and Drew, which I needed some kind of like
A little bit of closure.
solace closure that Blair just said, listen, I was surprised and I'm sorry. That was really nice.
Yeah. I think they'll be okay.
Well, I think they're gonna die, but
Well, I mean, relationship-wise, they'll be okay.
I was happy they finally
Not
talked for a
survival-wise.
little bit, that Blair was like, hey, Drew, I'm sorry. But I was a little bit annoyed that Drew was like, you showed your true colors. It's like, give Blair a chance. You can't not expect him to be surprised when you reveal this big truth about yourself.
Yeah. But the way that the conversation started, I thought was strange. Who was it? Joel? Who went over there? It was Drew and Blair, and then someone came over, and then Blair talked to Drew, and I cannot remember what character it was. But the reason I found that odd is because Drew and Blair were already there next to each other not talking, and they didn't start talking until after another conversation put them into a conversation, kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know that there was another character there. I don't remember who it was at the moment, but I do think that,
I think it was Alex.
yeah.
Was it Alex?
Because he was like, don't call me dude. Don't call me buddy.
Oh, yeah,
don't
yeah,
call me
yeah.
that. So
And
he was just, they were going back and forth.
I know that a lot of people said this, and we said this when we watched it. Like, why did it have to be Cricket? Couldn't have been Alex. Sorry.
We were all ready to sacrifice Alex because he just wasn't covered a lot, and so I thought that I personally thought that he was an easy target because he wasn't like, I think his backstory is fascinating. That whole like Cold War Russian thing, being able to secretly like hide your past life is great, but like they haven't been covering him, and so I thought, oh well, then he'll just be one of the ones that gets, you know, slaughtered
Apparently there's
or
no
whatever.
indicators on this show.
Yeah, which is exciting.
But that's good. I like that too, because then you're not like, well, it's gonna be them. It's gonna be more surprise.
Yeah.
It is strange though that Cricket did overcome her demons and was finally comfortable with herself and like was just living life and enjoying herself, and then she's the one that got killed. I find interesting.
Well, on that note, because people are asking who do you think is next to die, I think that it's one of the two that are becoming most comfortable with themselves, which perhaps could be, you know, Blair or Drew.
I think Drew.
Drew.
Blair.
I think Drew.
No, we need to see Blair's story. Like, hopefully, maybe Blair's story will be next week.
But maybe we get Blair's story and Blair dies.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
Wait, that's weird. There's one more episode. Two more episodes.
As I recall,
three more.
no, there's
What
five.
episode
No, there's
are we on?
a few
We're
more
just
episodes.
halfway through.
Yeah, and
Oh my gosh, for some reason, I think I'm just thinking about the other shows that I'm on. Like, we only have 2 more episodes to go. I don't know why I thought that.
one of the other things which I tweeted about was one, I'm pretty sure they were saying this, and I'm like, well, this is what they heard and or said, and we're going to be getting a Deb flashback, and it's going to go back to the masquerade that we saw.
Okay.
So that will be exciting. Looking forward to that. I
Of,
think
like-
that's supposed to be next week.
Of the 80s masquerade or like a past masquerade?
Her masquerade that they looked in the photo book when she was young. So we'll get her way back flashback. So when she was a young woman, not that she's old, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we'll be getting more of the tall man backstory stuff too.
What else?
I don't know if he gets a full episode, but a funny thing with him too is they said when he showed up, like all the crew kind of was like a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you guys, we might very well be getting him in the studio later in the season, and
love that.
I'm just like gonna bring some sage and the studio and
Purify.
No,
be
he's
safe,
an amazing
guys.
actor.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yes.
Anything else that you, Kari, can tell us from the panel to kind of tease everyone that didn't watch it online or?
They didn't. Well, it was anybody's fair game to die.
Obviously.
This is where it is becoming more of a horror show for sure.
Did they say anything about ghosts?
I do know about ghosts, but I don't remember if that's a panel too. but other people, yeah.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
so
There
they
might
can-
be ghosts of some sort. Well, wait, we already know there's a ghost. So technically, ghosts are a very easy possibility.
Yeah, so Cricket can like come back. And,
She could.
like
Try to warn people.
Well,
But we
and,
just don't know what
just have fun with
capacity.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
what
be
we need is
sad.
another warner.
Yes.
but
Jeez.
not someone so
Yeah.
uber creepy. On that note, let's get into some predictions because I think we each have a lot. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Let's start with you, Renee.
Okay, so I think that the way they're going to discover, well, not discover her Cricket's body, but the way they're going to figure out that it wasn't an accident is I think Alex is going to be like, no, we were just there earlier and she knew where all of them were, so there's no way that she would have fallen into one and gotten her head, opened with the thing. I also think that either I don't trust Garrett. I don't know who I don't trust more, Garrett, or I just found it shady that this episode, why am I blanking on her name?
Braces?
Jessie, braces Jessie. I found it very odd that she moved her leg and then uncovered a secret. That's strange, and it happened. Didn't seem organically the way it happened, so I also, now she's kind of on my suspect list. But I really don't, there's something off about Garrett and why he just wanders in the woods at night.
I agree. I'm super suspicious of Garrett. He's always randomly around, and people have been talking about descendants, and I'm like, I wonder if he's a descendant of the original people who died somehow. I
Oh,
don't
you mean
know
like
exactly
the
how-
cult
yeah,
kind
the
of
cult
towny
people who
community?
died.
Yeah.
I think his father is more involved than we think, because we did think he was there, which I think you were saying you thought it was the cufflinks were planted, but I'm like, was that you on the chat?
yeah.
No, I think the dad was involved, doing similar thing to what Garrett was doing, but back then.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, I'm gonna go with Blair. Maybe is the next to die, but it'd be too soon. But probably not super soon because we need a backstory. Because I don't think anybody's gonna die before we get a backstory. Because it makes us care about them more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they love to hit us where it hurts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I think that the next major character to get killed off is going to be Drew. I think that Drew is a very difficult character to keep going on the show. One, because, his character is so steeped in mystery, and now that the mystery is kind of over and Drew is happy, it just seems like the time to create drama with it, and we haven't heard Blair's backstory yet, so it doesn't make sense to really get Blair. And I thought for sure Alex was gonna go, so I guess not. Okay.
Douchebags live.
Yeah.
Good lesson.
I'm actually kind of surprised a few tertiary kids at the camp haven't been killed off, but I guess there's still time for that. Like with the kid with the inhaler. I think that there is something to do with mirrored generations of this camp. I think that Deb, there is a blonde version of Deb, and you'll probably see it in the backstory with the tall man. There's a blonde version of Deb. She's probably related to her, whatever. And then Amy is the new version of Deb, and they're both little blonde vessels who also calm down the situation and try to help, which is why I think Deb started the camp back up again to try to help. And I think that the tall man is somehow related to Michael and Joel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why he's trying to be like, I can see you because you're my great-grandson, and you are supposed to be the ancestor to my cult, and why aren't you listening to me?
But what about Anton?
Well, okay, so we saw the end, they have those little fun scenes or, tidbits at the end, and it said, there's Anton, Michael, and Joel, who are the only ones that are able to see the tall man. Why? Why is that? Because, you think, oh, they're African-American, oh, maybe they're related, but no, there's Anton, who's Russian, this Russian kid. So there is something else in that. Because I thought, oh, God.
But I just don't know what's been revealed.
Character that we don't know yet.
Yeah. I want to know what the Anton
who they
thing
are,
is.
more, because we don't know much about Anton, and he's so young that we don't know a lot about who he is. So maybe there's something more specific to their types, like they're this type of person, or they channel this kind of energy or something, and so something in that realm.
Yeah, I think that each person is there for their cookie cutter reason that they've been there in the past for. And there's all these sacrifices. I think the tall man is not good like we initially thought. And I think the next person to die, I agree with you, Amber, that it is going to be Blair after we see his backstory next episode. And then I think he's going to die, or Drew is going to die. That's my thought. I really, really look forward to seeing all of your guys' thoughts because I love chatting with you on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah. We love it. So please continue it. Guys, one more time, where can everyone find you on social media?
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Renee Ariel.
And I'm Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari Lane. And some of this stuff, I'm not remembering what I tweeted, but if you go through my Twitter account, I posted some Dead of Summer stuff.
If you guys have theories, I love to chat about them. Tweet me at Amber Plaster.
And I love to hear theories too. Tweet me at SamD43, Twitter and Instagram, online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, #ABTVDOS, and we will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.